Severe, Cane Town, and Big Mike Raider. Swaggering Boisterous.
This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, they just shot a few of my shits down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas. You wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history. I can't explain it.
Yo. We're here. The season finale, week 18 in the books. The Raiders finish 8-9 on top with the 27-14 win against the Broncos. Guys, we got Cane Town Raider back in the building. Give him a round of applause. We got Cane Town back in the building. He's shitting his pants, but he's in the building.
I couldn't push off another one, man. I was like, I'd have done this. I've been trying to get back on for weeks now. And every time I try to plan a show with you guys, I got something that comes up. I said, not this time. I'm going to sit here and shit in my drawers while we do this show.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Cane Town is hard to catch than Barry Sanders in the open field, man.
For real, man. And, of course, at the bottom of the screen, we got the young legend, Severe Raider, in the building, man. What's going on, bro? How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. You know, better than the rest of the AFC West, apparently.
Man, yeah. So we finished second in the West, 8-9. Got the tiebreaker over the Broncos. Schedule is going to be looking a little bit tougher than if we would have took a loss. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll talk about draft order. Draft order is already in the books. Everything's solidified as far as that goes. And we're going to do a little bit of reflecting on what was, kind of a tale of two different, seasons this year. We had the pre-AP, and then we have, AP during that time.
Exactly,
seemed like two different teams. We'll kind of reflect, kind of talk about what we were right about at the beginning of the season and what we have to hold that L on. I know I got a few. I know Cane Town got a few. Severe. We got a few. We're going to talk about it, man. But we got 30 in the building. I have to acknowledge the chat before we start talking, man, because you know how that goes. We keep running our mouth. We won't stop, man. We'll just act like nobody's here listening to us. So shout out to Carlos and Fuego in the building, finishing with a 13th pick. Hopefully one falls. The Raiders are trade up for one Raider Nation for life. Yeah, we'll get into that, man. But shout out to you. Thanks for popping in. We got Richard Dushock in the building because we're crazy. We here. I don't know what you mean. I probably only saw like half of that comment. So Dominic Fives in the building, though. He says, we do this every year. We don't win enough games to make the playoffs, but we win too many games to draft a top QB. It'll be difficult trading up because the teams ahead of us need quarterbacks as well. Yeah. Absolutely. Excuse me. Yeah, it's tough, man. We're kind of stuck in the middle. To be honest with you, a lot of people, kind of reflect just a little bit. A lot of people picked us to go we were picked to be one of the worst teams in the league.
I had myself that dumb motherfucker on Twitter, Jared Bailey, said we were going to be 4-13. I told him that was asinine, and he wanted to run his mouth. So if he happens to see this, gotcha, bitch.
There you go. Talk that shit, bro. That's right, man. So yeah, absolutely, man. You look back at it in the bigger picture this season, kind of a success, in terms of expectations outside of what we thought. We all thought we were going to be here. We were pretty much flirting around.
I said 7-10. I believe you said 8, 9, 9, 8.
So
I think I said 10-7. I want to say so. I'm with.
So I mean, difference between a few plays here and there, we could be 10-7. You know,
Yeah,
a few plays
very
here and
easy.
there, we could be 7-10.
Or if we'd have just had AP from the jump.
Absolutely. So, you know, our expectations were a lot higher than what the naysayers were saying, what the experts were saying outside of, you know, Raider Nation. So we were right once again. They were wrong. Long story short. But we got Dominique 5 in the building. Thanks for the support. Raider Nation in the building. What's good, Big Mike Raider? The game wasn't on my TV, but glad we beat the Donkeys. They ain't shit to us. That's 8 in a row. They've never beat the Las Vegas Raiders.
Anybody who can never catch the games, if you follow me on anything, hit me up. I'll hit you with a link. I got 100 of them.
Yeah, I was driving on the way home. I missed like part of the first quarter.
You too.
I had to hit a link up, you know, because I have all the I have the YouTube TV, but I forgot the password. So I was like, dang, I gotta do it the dirty way.
Yeah.
And you know, I kind of link real quick. I was like, all right, but you know, I caught most of the first quarter, so you know, it worked out. Shout out to Dodgers, everything. Raiders, yeah, man.
Yes,
it was a good win. It was a good day to be a Raider. Definitely, man. Who else we got here? I'm gonna scroll down a little bit. Protect the Shields in the building. He says, shout out to Severe predicting the Adam Butler sack.
Man,
Black Nostradamus. Hey, Severe's been some. You've been pretty point with a lot of things, bro.
Some things, man. Some things. You know, I just make sure I bring up when I'm right. I make sure I highlight that so people remember that.
Yeah.
When I'm wrong, I never speak about it again,
bro. I guess.
Whoa! Hey, thank you, Samir. Thank you, Big Mike. Jimmy G.
I was about to say that. So Jimmy G got booed out of the stadium. I don't know if you guys noticed that. That was pretty interesting. He got that one series, and the crowd, that was the loudest they were to me. I
reminded everybody why they hated him earlier this year.
Yeah. So I got to hold the L. Speaking of holding L's, I thought Jimmy G was going to play 17 games. And part of me was because it was maybe wishful thinking. It was definitely wishful thinking because Jimmy G was such an awful acquisition. I was like, maybe they see something that we didn't see. It turned out to be that was completely wrong, right?
Yeah.
Completely wrong. I said that Jimmy G was going to throw for over 4,000 yards. He was going to, you know, his contract was going to look like a bargain at the end of it. And I was absolutely wrong, man. It's you can go find it, go check it out on my, you know, it's a short that I put up. Yeah. I'm not gonna delete it. I'm not putting it down. I've heard people, oh, this aged well. Yeah, damn right it aged well, right? Like, hey, have some balls to go out on a limb every once in a while, man.
Absolutely.
That's you gotta
put out there.
Yeah,
I gotta check.
I'm gonna hold the L, bro.
We should go back and check that whole episode we did before the season started and see what we got right and wrong.
Yeah, I was dead wrong about Jimmy G. You know, it was a little bit of hoping that, you know, that he could capture something, you know, his familiarity with the offense, you know, him linking up with Josh McDaniels. It will be some kind of synergy there, and it just never materialized, man. Never materialized.
I think we were all a little bit more optimistic about Jimmy G. I think while we all had different opinions on like what he would do, we all thought it would. This is nobody planned the season out to be like this.
Yeah, it was a crazy season for sure, man. But, you know, shout out to Daniels Caps Keenan in the building. Shout out to Mark Salter, the Black Al Davis, first time popping in. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for the love and support, man. Hopefully this isn't your last time. Make sure you like the thumb, hit the sub, share with your folks, and go check out my guys' new channel. They're gonna be getting things going this upcoming season, starting with the draft. And this is the Swaggering Boisterously Crew. Get used to us, man. Get used to us. We got another special guest in the building, Cade Morehouse. What's going on, bro? How you doing, man?
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me.
That was good. It was good, man. Nice meeting you.
Nice
man,
meeting
introduce
you,
yourself,
nice
man. Introduce yourself to everybody to chat. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Cool, man. My name's Cade. You know, big time Raider fan. I do MMA media, so you can follow me at Cade Morehouse. I do like interviews, articles. I work for Cade Side Press. Some of you may know what that is if you follow MMA. Yeah, man, you can find me at Cade Morehouse pretty much anywhere. So that's me. And
nice.
Thanks for having me again, bro. I'm excited.
Oh man, good to have you, man. We officially got the content in a chokehold right now with Cade Morehouse. Thanks for popping in, man. So let's get into things, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We're about to get down to brass tacks, man. If I miss you guys, my apologies. But first things first, right? Let's talk about this Raider game. The Raiders win 27-14. I'm gonna jump into the box score, and I kind of want to get you guys' reaction on what kind of sticks out according to the box score. Give me 1 second. All right, so here we go. We got Aiden O'Connell, 20. Where's that coming from? Oh, I got okay. Sorry, I had some music for a second in my ear. My bad.
I was like, what?
All right, Aiden O'Connell, 20 for 31, 244 yards, a 7.9 average per completion. Took 2 sacks, but his quarterback rating was 74, and his QBR, was 74, and a QB rating of 110.1, which is pretty damn good. Zamir White, 25 carries, 112 yards. Trey Tucker led the way, 5 receptions for 79 yards, and Jacoby Myers and Devante Adams with 2 touchdowns each. Robert Spillane led the way in tackles with 12, and Max Crosby with only 2 tackles but 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss. He played a big – his stats don't really pop in this game, but he played such a big role in this game. Every time Max Crosby popped out, like in passing situations, it seemed like
Stidham was running for his life.
Stidham was running for his life. He just kept his eye on what was going on with Max Crosby and didn't necessarily – he wouldn't – he was just worried about Crosby more than what was going out on the field. Guys, what are your thoughts about that? What sticks out to you in that box score?
Same thing that stuck out since day one. Max was a fucking dog.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, two tackles, almost a minuscule stat line, and he had the biggest impact on the defensive side of the ball of everybody.
Man, you already know what sticks out to me, man. I said it before the year, and I'm gonna say it again. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey.
Oh no.
Goodbye.
You don't want me doing that today.
It was a pleasure, Mr. Jacobs. It was a pleasure. But you can chunk the deuce and get loose, my brother, because we gonna
Oh man.
Hey, brother, good. Yeah, go ahead. That save that for the history books. Save that for the history books, brother. That's gonna be like clear Coke. It's not gonna be where.
Hey, Kate, what you got, man?
I think what sticks out to me in the box score today was just Trey Tucker, just getting him involved in the offense. And I feel like today was kind of a preview of what to expect next year with Trey Tucker and his usage. I think this year was kind of a developmental year for him. Yep. We obviously are paying Hunter Renfrow, so he has to get his snaps, but obviously he wasn't very productive again in our offense. But they drafted Trey Tucker. He kind of sat behind a little bit, developed this year, was used in some packages, but today he was used a lot more, and I think it was the last game of the season. We weren't really playing for a playoff spot, so it was a perfect time to use him, and I think he did well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was on offense. We did see a big youth movement. Now, I that was one like term that I was saying a lot at the beginning of the season was youth movement. I think we finally saw kind of what we were expecting as far as that go offensively. Aiden O'Connell did his thing. He played very well. Zamir White's in his second year. Second year. Yeah, and he showed that we don't need Josh Jacobs. I told him give him a couple of games. He had that one good game, and I was like, okay, that's good, but let's see you keep on doing it. And he's done that. He's over 100 yards once again. Looks like we're going to be moving on from Josh Jacobs. I mean, I would assume so. And then Trey Tucker, like you said, 3rd round pick. He did his thing. And go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Did you hear what Josh said after the game at all?
No, I didn't.
So I just read it before we got on. They were asking him if he's coming back next year or whatever. He said, we'll see how the chips fall, but with AP, I'm all in. So I don't know.
Is he all in on taking like an $8 million deal? Is he taking
right.
Like, you can say you all in. I can be all in, but what's the money looking like?
Yeah, I mean,
I think, go ahead, brother.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think Josh deserves to get paid. I don't I don't know if he deserves that $12 or $13 million deal that he was seeking. I think, 8 to 10 max, and that's pushing it. But I think, in the 8 to 10 range, on a 2-year deal, of course, I'd love to have Jacobs back here. He had a down year this year, but there was a lot of stuff going on this year with this football team. But, the year prior, man, he was a 1,600-yard league leading rusher. So I think a 2-year deal at $8-9 million a year, I'll take Jacobs all day. But I'm 12, 13, not interested.
Yeah. And I mean, if we actually do use multiple backs next year, him and Zamir White both trading in and out, and they use them properly, that's dead.
I mean, I will say this. I would rather than bring back Josh Jacobs, which I already said, Josh Jacobs before last year had never been healthy for a full season. All of a sudden, it's a contract year. He's healthy. He gets semi-paid, and he's not healthy again. Like, that's not that's not
a good look.
Yeah, not a good look at all. I'll say this, but I'm going to give you guys some stats, all right? I'm going to give you player 1, 172 carries, 723 yards, 4.2 yards per, 4 touchdowns. That's player 1. Player 2, 233 carries, 805 yards, 3.5 yards per carry, 6 touchdowns. Which one is Josh Jacobs?
He's B.
Who?
He is B. Who was the first one?
Zamir?
Doug Martin.
Oh, Doug Martin,
last year in the league.
Oh my God.
I'm not paying $8 million for that, bro.
Not the muscle hands.
You can walk.
Yo, Zamir with the haymaker, man. God dang. That was spicy, bro.
I'm cool. I'm cool on Josh Jacobs, bro.
Josh might have to take $6 million after that.
Man, you feel me?
Yo, I don't even know where to go from there, man. But that was a haymaker, man. Let me acknowledge the chat. Shout out to Raiders Primos, my boy. He says Zamir White and a new running back going to work running back by committee. I would love to see Jacobs come back for the cheap, and they actually legit run the running back by committee.
They're not gonna, if AP is the coach, they're not going to do it, man. AP is not going to run the committee. If Josh Jacobs is here, that's his dog.
Yeah. He's giving him 400 carries.
So just to expand on what Primo said, though, I was going to kind of hit on this. If Josh don't come back, which it's looking like he probably won't.
Yeah.
What free agent or rookie would you ideally put next to Zamir White to be that RB2 next year?
I don't sign free agent running backs. I think you can find those all over the draft.
I absolutely agree. I find it in the draft.
I go draft, or I don't know what Britton Brown. People have been on this. Some people love Sincere McCormick. Some people like Britton Brown.
I like either one of them.
Yeah, I heard they were both doing well. I know Britton was doing really well in camp.
Like Britton Brown. I'm sure.
Of course you do.
Oh yeah,
of course you like Britton
Brown.
I like
Britton Brown. I'm a UCLA fan.
See, exactly. We got 2. Oh my God, bro.
Oh, you UCLA fan too?
I knew I smelled shit.
This is a smart man. Thank you, man. This is a smart dude. You got.
I actually have 2 favorite college teams. UCLA is my first. Michigan's my second. So
okay. See, I'm a UCLA. I'm Ohio State second, but I can't be Ohio State no more because we're in the Big Ten now. So
Cade said go running back. He said for running back, go draft. Cade, who do you draft? Ideally,
I already know what he's gonna say.
Blake Corum.
Yeah, that's what
I like Blake Corum. The only thing that scares me about Blake Corum in the NFL is he's 5'8".
Yeah.
210, 220?
He's like 215, 220.
Use him as a third down back with Zeus. But see if he can be an all down back.
If you're looking for somebody to go by the committee with Zamir White, Blake Corum's a great back. Another one is that I like, and I feel like he slept on a little bit, is Bucky Irving from Oregon.
He's good.
That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. I think we're definitely gonna be in the market in the draft for another running back.
Yeah.
And Blake Corum, shout out to Desert Raider, does remind me a lot of Josh Jacobs. He has a similar build. He's 5'8", shorter, a little bit shorter than Josh Jacobs, but he's about 215 pounds. So, if you really compare the two, it's almost the same because Josh Jacobs is about 220.
I like short running backs, though. They hide them behind the offensive line, and if they're big enough to still take the hits. Big Mike or Severe, who would you ideally put with Zeus?
Man, I like Bucky Irving. I like Bucky Irving. I like there is Trey Benson, Florida State. Yeah. But ideally, because those guys are gonna probably go like second, third roundish. I'd rather have a late round. I haven't looked at like deep into the running back class. I'd rather take a chance on a late round guy if I'm gonna go committee, not put any real like valuable assets toward the running back. So that's why I preferably, if we have the answer in house, if Sincere or Britton can be that other guy, that would be the most ideal situation. But if we're gonna go draft, I like Dylan Johnson. He's just been hurt.
That's the only problem with him is Dylan Johnson. Shout out to Sean Johnson on that one. Yeah,
that's a good one. But like, he's not really so much of a change of pace from Zeus. He's another like downhill, kind of run you over type of guy.
Yeah.
Wait, Mike, what about Marshawn Lloyd?
Marshawn Lloyd, I gotta do some research on that one. Give me a couple weeks, I'll let you know. But shout out to Cowtown Luda, Ray Davis from Kentucky. That he's a good look too, and he's a later round kind of pick too. That would be somebody I would look at. Shout out to Franklin Skinner. He's throwing out names. Estime, I think it's Estime from Notre Dame. He's a big boy. I think he's about 230 or something like that. That'd be a good
down back in that one.
Yeah, well, you got a thunder and lightning kind of deal with that in that situation. So that's what I was looking at in Schrader as well. So
Marshawn Lloyd, that's SC, right?
Yeah. I stopped watching SC. I'm not gonna lie to you. After they lost to Washington. So
what's the boy from Clemson? It seemed like he'd been there forever.
What's his name?
Shipley.
Yeah, Will Shipley.
Will Shipley. He's been there. It seemed like he's been there forever, man. I don't know. He's only been there.
Yeah, he has been there a while. I think 3 years.
What about is Jonathan Brooks coming out of Texas this year? I know he was hurt.
He's probably RB1 though. If he comes out, I would assume he's RB1.
Even with the injury, you still think he's RB1?
Yeah, I would think so.
I think I gotta look it up.
Yeah, him and Blake Corum probably RB1, RB.
I like Braylon Allen a lot too.
Shout out to Big Heck. He says Shipley declared for the draft. So
hey,
it looks like a loaded running back draft this year. Not anybody that's worth going in the first round. Nobody's doing that.
If anybody, it's Brooks or Benson.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely, man. So I want to talk a little bit about the season, end of season stats, and Kane Town. We're gonna put you on spot.
Oh,
it's your time to shine, bro. So
you
already know what I'm talking about. So that's another L that we have to hold this year. Mine was the whole, I put myself on the limb about Jimmy G. So I'm gonna read the team stats so far. So you guys know the offense was terrible this year. Passing yards 23rd in the league, 196.9. Rushing yards 30th in the league, 88.3. Turned up towards the end of the season, but
severe.
But what sticks out to me, man, points against 19.8. I think they have to update that, but we are 8th currently.
Ooh.
It doesn't seem like we're going to get any high. It's not going to get higher. We gave up only 14. So, Kane Town, you got some explaining to do, man. Explain to everybody what you said. Was it about 4 or 5 months ago, right before the season started? Explain in detail what you said before the season started, particularly a top 15 defense.
Yeah. So what I had
said, go for it, bro.
I did not think this defense had it this year coming in, and I was confident about that almost halfway through the season still.
Yep.
Lo and behold, for the first time in 20 years, the Raiders decided to have a fucking top 10 defense.
Hey,
I said before the season, I said if the Raiders field a top 15 defense, I would twerk on camera.
Yes, indeed. Get the clapping, baby.
I gotta defend my man though, real quick. Let's be honest. Until Josh got fired, this defense was not playing this way.
Severe loves Josh.
So
Oh, that's another L. Yeah, no, you're right. Hey, Cade, you're absolutely right, bro. You know,
So,
this defense.
I think
go for it.
Since I said that Josh McDaniels' team would not field a top 15 defense, and I was correct because nobody could have assumed that we were going to have a new head coach. You know, that changed the team. That's not the same team.
Nah, man.
Still got the same defensive coordinator.
That don't matter.
Patrick Graham is still the defensive coordinator.
Don't matter.
I think your
The
boy
defense was coming on
tried to
too,
make
man.
Patrick Graham
The defense was coming on.
Yeah.
The defense was coming on. Like even before Josh got the boot, and the defense was starting. The defense was playing well. It's just the offense was putting them in bad situations.
Yeah, but they weren't playing this good. And also another thing too.
Tell him, Cade, you tell him.
Yeah, another thing too is like when AP took over, you start to see something completely different from guys like Malcolm Kuntz and Tyree Wilson, and their development. Like it wasn't the same. But I'm sorry, Kane Town, my brother. A bet's a bet. Look like you're gonna be choking on camera.
Well, look,
due
to certain complications that will not be happening today.
Oh exactly. Yeah, no, you can wait with that one, bro.
No, we got to next season. We got to next season.
Hey, I thought you had my back, bro. I can't believe you did me like that at the end.
Man, shout out to Cowtown Luda. Chat about to get real small. Yeah, I want to keep people.
See, you want to lose followers? Y'all really want to lose subscribers?
Nah, you know what? No, we know what it is. I just wanted you to hold that L.
Yeah, nah, facts.
Figuratively, you know, you.
Oh, I'm gonna make a statement. I will never make a bet like that again.
Yeah,
or a statement or anything.
Kate, you mentioned something that I really sticks out to me, man. Josh McDaniels, and we're kind of talking about a tale of two different, seasons, right? Pre-AP and post and during AP, right? You did say something about Josh McDaniels holding PG as a scapegoat to why things were going wrong. Can you go into detail a little bit about that, man? Just for the chat and everybody.
Yeah, I feel that. I just feel like that was the case. I felt like he was trying to, there was blame that had to be made on other people to kind of get away from what was actually happening. And you would hear it in every single press conference that Josh would do. Like he would say, well, we just didn't get the stops. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. And there was one particular game. Let me go back and look, man, because it was a long season where I felt like he really was doing something on purpose. I think it was – let's see. The Lions game was the last game he coached, right?
Correct.
Yes. That was last game. Coach.
I think it was that game. I think it was that game or the Bears game. He went for it on 2. We didn't get it on our own side of the field, and he put Patrick Graham's defense back on the field, and we gave up a touchdown. Yep. Then after the game, he brought that up. Well, our defense couldn't get stops, especially at the end of the game when we needed it to. So,
bless motherfucker.
I just felt that is, he was in a moment of trying to save his job. He knew that it was crumbling down, and they were going to end up making a change. And he had to say and do things to try to save himself. And a lot of guys do that. So it's not just Josh McDaniels. I'm not saying it's just him. But I felt like Patrick Graham, by the little hints and codes that he would say in his, after post-game press conferences or his throughout the week press conferences, it was like he was trying to make him the scapegoat, which I find funny because he gets fired and all of a sudden we're doing a little bit different things on defense. It's almost like Patrick Graham is free range to do what he wants to do with his own defense. And we start shutting shit down, like locking shit up. So then it makes me think Josh was preventing him from doing certain things on defense, and he also had some type of a say in the defense. Whereas Antonio Pierce was like, look, brother, I'm here to help. you do what you got to do.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. I think John B said it right there. Mike put it up. I think the handcuffs are off. One thing I say about Josh is that he was clearly in self-preservation mode. But people always say Josh didn't take any blame for how bad he was. I mean, even though it was like a canned response, he would always say, hey, you know what? We players got to play better. I got to coach better. I got to call better plays. It was like his heart was never really in it, but he would always say it.
He always one of those things. Right thing.
Yeah, he'd always say it. But that's a lot of Josh McDaniels is like, you know what? He knows the right things to say, but it's not a lot of feeling or emotion behind it. Whereas when you have Antonio Pierce, it's not as polished, it's not as, like corporate and ready-made, but you have that emotion and that feeling behind it. And I think that's the main difference between the two. But yeah, definitely, man, PG. Somebody else said in the chat, man, PG doesn't get enough credit, man. A lot of people try to attribute it to AP, but every time you ask players about, hey, you know what's they doing on defense? Like Jack Jones shouted them out after that crazy pick against the Chargers. Like, you know what, PG called a great game. Max Crosby, said he was dog of the week, or during his podcast. I want to say Bucky Brooks shouted out like the same kind of deal where, hey, you know what? Patrick Graham, once Josh McDaniel was out of there, Patrick Graham was more free to kind of do the things he wanted to do. So I think PG doesn't get enough credit, man. And maybe we shouldn't give him credit because there's a possibility he gets some looks as head coach, man. And, he was kind of emotional that last press conference, man. So the writing may be on the wall for Patrick Graham. And then we'll really get to see, like, what does AP, have to do? He has hired two coordinators at that point.
Yeah,
I hope PG's, but Patrick Graham's back. If AP leaves, I'm more sad that Patrick Graham's probably gone than I am about AP not being here. So
I agree.
I really hope that for Patrick Graham to stay with this defense. I would not be happy with this defense playing this great 1 year and then having to do a different system. I feel like it would just ruin everything that's been built. Yeah, because then you got to go get players to fit a new system. You got to get rid of players that don't fit the new system, and then we're back to square one.
Are we going to get into that head coach stuff tonight?
Yeah, we got.
I really don't want to talk too much about it.
Well, we got the super chat real quick. I just want to ask you guys a question. This is like more of a rhetorical question. Let's say you guys brought in a guy. You lobbied to bring this guy to your job.
Yeah.
And then a position above you opened up. And instead of looking at you for that job, the guy that you brought in got hired to be your boss now. The guy that you brought in and you kind of coached up. Would you stay at that job after being overlooked? And the guy that you brought in and you fought for got hired over you? Would you stay there? That's just, like we always say AP gives us the best chance to keep PG, but does he really give us his best? Because if I'm PG, bro, like I'm like, all right, cool. I see what it is, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity. And I see what my value was here, and I'm going to look elsewhere.
That's tough. That's tough because, I mean, we don't know his mentality. You're absolutely right. We don't know if he looks at that situation and is like, hey, this dude was a linebackers coach. I've been cutting my teeth for a number of years to get to an opportunity, and now I'm just getting passed up just because, he came in an old school car and yelled out Raiders a couple of times and had a winning record as a, interim coach. I've been cutting my teeth for some blank odd years and I can't get an opportunity. I can't get a look. Like, we don't know what kind of mentality is. I get you on that one. That's something that I didn't 100% consider. Hopefully that's not a conflict. Hopefully that's not, something that's really being considered.
I think they might have offered Patrick Graham. They might have said, hey, do you want this? He might have said no. I mean, some of these guys, man, they don't. I mean, he might have changed his mind. The money talks. When you're getting paid $1 or $2 million right now, or maybe even less, and then you get an offer on the table for 5, 6, 7, money talks. But some of these guys, they don't have it in them to be head coaches. They're like, man, I like to show up to the office. I like to run my defense.
Yep.
I like to be around the game and focus on it. But all that other bullshit of like almost babysitting grown-ass men and making sure they're doing the right thing and all this shit, it's not for everybody.
That's a fact.
And Patrick Graham might have said, "Nah, I'm good. I want to just stick to this shit." We don't know. Nobody truly knows that was in the building. But
Patrick Graham did come out and say this is the most fun he's ever had with a team ever.
So that's true.
He did say it. So
it's interesting, man. That's a good point you brought up. But it seems like they kind of Patrick Graham is kind of accepting his role where he is. I think he wants to be a D coordinator. Some people are best as coordinators and not as head coaches. We've seen that time and time again where they're great coordinators and then they come and be a head coach. They don't know what to do. They're not leader of men. Josh McDaniels being one of them. So we've seen that in multiple occasions, different cases as well. So it should be interesting this offseason to see where that goes. But let's get to the $2 haymaker from Richard. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for the support. Great on Zeus this season. Very cool platform. We appreciate you, man. Guys, 1 through 100. Zeus grade this season. I know it's hard. It's almost an incomplete. But from what you saw, for the last 4 or 5 games from Zeus, what do you guys give him as far as a grade?
90.
90? Oh, you went higher than me. I was gonna go 85. I was gonna go 85, but
it's based off of before the season started, I was over Zeus. I was done.
Yeah,
everybody was, but me.
This dude's poop.
Yeah, you're the only one.
He finds a pile, runs right into this shit. He has no vision. I said all that.
Yeah.
This man came in these last 4 games, man, and balled out, looked like a whole different running back, figured it out, and impressed me immensely. I want him back as our RB1 next year, and I want to go get him a 3rd down back to spell him here and there.
Absolutely. What you got, Zamir?
Yeah, man, I was gonna say 80, 85, just because part of being a successful running back in the NFL is the attrition piece of it, right? How you handle taking that type of pounding over 16 or now 17 game season. So we haven't seen Zeus do that yet, just because he hasn't been given an opportunity. Now, I said all along, like, it's not a talent piece. I think it was just an opportunity piece. Anytime he's the kind of back, you can't throw him in there for 1 or 2, rushes and expect like immediate production. It's hard for anybody to do that, right? Like to come in right in and I need you to be productive. You haven't got a chance to watch to get into the flow of the game or see how defenses are going to, are going to rush it or see how the linemen are going to block it. You got to come right in and produce. That's a difficult situation. Once you got a full game of opportunity, immediate production. So I want to see what he does. With a full season and RB2. I would like to keep Amir as RB3 if we can. I think he's good. Not RB3, but as a 3rd down back. I think he's good on 3rd down. I think he's good in special teams too. If we get like a partner for Zeus, I think that would be an ideal situation.
Yeah, no doubt. Kate, what you got, bro?
Yeah, it's hard for me to really grade a player that only started 4 or 5 games because before like these starts, he really wasn't, producing the way that you'd want him to when we drafted him. But then at the same time, when I really look back at all the whole situation, I feel like he never really got that much of a chance. We were grading him off 3 carries a game, 4 carries a game, if that.
Yeah.
I think Zeus is like, I think he's a very good back. I think he's slow at making his read at first, but once he finds his read and he hits his hole, man, he's dangerous. But I'll say 85. I mean, I think for the 5 games he started, he was as good as anybody. I don't know about it as anybody in the league, but he was third.
He was third since he took over his 3rd position. He was 3rd in the league in rushing. He's like the first Raiders back to have 2 100-yard games in his first 4 games. I mean, so
yeah. I mean, in an 85, I feel like a little low, but like I said, he only played 4 or 5 games. But in those 4 or 5 games, it's almost like it's like an A. But
it's not all you can ask for.
Yeah. I would honestly, I'm gonna bump mine to a 90. Actually, for the 5 games he played, I mean, it's hard to not give him that A grade, man. But we'll see what he does next year. Like if we don't bring Josh back and he's the running back 1 next year, we're really gonna see what Zeus is about. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say I give him an 88. Now give him just below an A's because we didn't see too many touchdowns from him either. And you can't really blame him for that. It's more of the the scheme or whatever they dial up on offense and things like that. But our problem for the last few years, not so much this year, has been when we get into the red zone, what's going to happen. So what I do want to see from Zeus, if we do make him the number one running back, is he going to be a difference maker in the red zone next year? Because that's where games are won. Whoever the quarterback is and who our running back is, I want to see better production in the red zone. I want to see a couple more touchdowns. So I'm a little bit of tough grade for that one. 88 is still pretty good, close to an A, but that's what I'll give him in these 4 or 5 games because, he put up yards.
Who'd have thought Severe would give him the lowest grade?
No, right?
Right.
No, right? And one thing I will say, though, man, that I was really impressed with, because it's not something that was a strength of his. He's really turned into a very solid receiver. Like he's a very solid receiver. And that's not part of his game. When he first got drafted, that was one of the things he said, I'm working on this like every day. And the work has shown up. And he's a solid receiver, man. So, hopefully that trajectory continues of him progressing as a rusher and as a receiver as well.
Yeah, man. So let's move on to the next topic, man. I want to talk about the future of the Raiders. I want to talk about the near future. Right now, not right now. This is official. The Raiders are going to be picking 13th in the 2024 NFL draft. Guys, how do you feel about that? Where should we go? Do you think the Raiders are going to be seeking a trade as far as getting the quarterback of the future? Or is the quarterback of the future, meaning next year in free agency, a Justin Fields through a trade? Russell Wilson, people don't want to hear it. Or Kyler Murray through a trade. Where do you guys think we go? And how do you think it kind of unfolds?
So it's kind of hard. There's so many options this year. Ideally for me, we go and take a second or a third or whatever combination of picks that are not a first, and you go get a Justin Fields. I'm imagining if you want a Kyler Murray, it's going to be a first. So you go do that. You go get Fields. You get him on a 2-year deal where he's still on a rookie contract. You get to see what he's about. And if he's not it, then you get to move on from him with no penalties. And then first round, I go and I get Jerzon Newton if he's still on the board right away. You add him to that pass rush, and we get even more interior push. You bring back an Adam Butler. You bring back I would bring back most of our defensive line if we can. I'd bring back Bilal Nichols. You can kick Tillery to the curb, whatever. But you just add him to that core we have now. And
what Tillery do?
He sucks.
Like Tillery catches strays, man. Tillery catches strays.
Man, out of nowhere.
You just add him to that core unit, and I think, man, quarterback's gonna be running for the hills next year.
Severe, what's the plan, man? What you got?
So I actually stay away from Fields. I mean, that dude is. How many high drafted quarterbacks that didn't make it to their second contract with their original team go to another team and have any level of success?
How many players in the history of the Chicago Bears have been a solid quarterback ever?
I mean, that is true. Jay Cutler for a while, but I will say his talent. Rarely does a quarterback if your team is in position to draft another quarterback before you get your second contract, it's probably because you suck. So that's why they're drafting that high.
Is that the reason though? With this, is this not an outlier? Is this not the Chicago Bears who can never have a good quarterback?
Look at CJ Stroud.
He didn't play for the Bears.
He played for one of the worst teams in the league last year. Nobody thought they'd be good.
There's so much young talent on that team.
No, bro. He's doing this without he brought in Tank Dell. Nobody knew who Nico Collins was. Nobody knew who Noah Brown was. Dalton Schultz had been given up by the Cowboys had given up on Dalton Schultz. So all these guys were castaways from other teams that he got there and he made them good.
Of course, of course he helped.
He's doing it.
All those guys are super talented.
None of those guys are better than DJ Moore. none of them are better than DJ Moore.
That's
And
all Justin Fields had.
He's still a bum.
And look, DJ Moore had his best year with Justin Fields.
That's because who did he have in Carolina?
So
DJ Moore had a good year, but Justin Fields still didn't have a good year. So
he did have a good year. He was hurt for part of the year.
No, he was he's I want to say he's bottom 5 in QBR. He didn't have a good year though. But if I have my druthers, if we can stay at 13, if we can get a guy like Penix, we're out of Jaden Daniels sweepstakes. So Jaden Daniels is the kind of guy I wanted. I'm hoping maybe Penix slides a little bit just because of the injury history. Teams kind of get a little bit scared of the injury history. He's also like a little bit older than some of the other QB prospects. So I'm hoping he slides. We get him at 13. If not, I would not be opposed. I'm going to get killed for this. I would not be opposed.
Say
it. Mr. Unlimited. Hear me out.
I knew it.
Hear me out.
I knew it.
I'm in
Look, this is just only as a stopgap. Only because we can pay him. He's more incentivized to take a smaller contract because there's the offset language with the Broncos. So whatever we pay him, the Broncos have to make up the rest of it because they have that money guaranteed. So unless somebody's going to give him a contract bigger than what the Broncos had given him, which is not going to happen, he's more incentivized to take a lesser deal to be punitive to the Broncos. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to that as a one-year stopgap. Before the Broncos came in there and knifed them with that, restructure talk, he was actually playing well. He had a 5-game stretch where he was playing like at a Pro Bowl level. They had just come off a game where they beat the Chiefs. They go into their bye week. Management comes to him, says, "Hey, you know what? Why don't you push off those injury guarantees to another year, or we're going to sit you down the rest of the year." And then his play falls off the cliff after that. That's a human reaction. I think like these guys obviously don't want me. They don't believe in me. Ask me to to restructure my contract. They're going to sit me down. How motivated would you be to play your best ball after that?
These comments are killing me.
Man, no, I'm for sure nobody likes Russ, man.
I agree with Zamir.
I agree with him too. I'm actually all right with it too. I got cooked already about it. That's why I think it's funny because I said almost the same thing. You bring Russell Wilson in for the cheap veteran minimum, and he has a fire to whoop the Broncos' ass twice a year. Why wouldn't you want that?
And
I don't know why wouldn't you want that. And
you're putting Devante Adams with him. And you can't tell me you watched him play with Cortland Sutton this year. Cortland Sutton had a good year. You haven't thrown to Devante. Sounds like Devante's back next year from what he sounded like today.
Maybe.
And Jacoby played the way he did this year. Tucker's up and coming. Mayer's going to be back next year, and he's just looking like he's going to get better. Bro, you go put him with all the weapons, I guarantee you this man can still put it downfield and whoop some ass. I'm not the biggest fan of him as a person, but we can deal with it for a year or two.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, Kay, jump in, man. Jump in. What you got for the plan for this offseason? Number 13th overall. How would you handle it?
Yeah, so I've been saying the same thing for years. You look around the league and you see how these teams are building a blueprint to win, and it's real simple. It's go get your franchise quarterback in the draft, a young prospect. All the good teams have done it. You got the Bengals, the Texans, the Bills did it, the Chiefs did it. Everybody's doing it. That's just the blueprint to win in today's league. That's the most important position in football. Russell Wilson isn't a guy that strikes me. Justin Fields, I'm not down for that either. You're looking at a guy that's under contract for next year. Maybe you could get his 5th-year option, and then you got to end up paying him. For me, the smartest thing to do is draft a quarterback and open yourself up a 4-year window to go build your roster around your quarterback until you have to pay your quarterback, possibly 5 years because you're going to draft him in the 5th round. If you pick up his 5th-year option, he's good enough for that. But that's my blueprint. If you want to ask me what quarterbacks I'm interested in, it would probably be Number one's Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix is the most NFL-ready quarterback out of the group right now. I think he would come in here to this Raiders offense and he would tear shit up. And this Raiders offense is only really missing a quarterback and a good offensive mind right behind him. And then the second guy I would look into that I really like is Jaden Daniels. He scares me a little bit more than Penix just because he kind of was like that one-year guy. But he had a hell of a year and a hell of a transformation from ASU to LSU. So I like him too. Obviously, Drake May and Caleb Williams I like, but I think those guys are going higher in the draft. But those are the two guys that I'm interested in, to be honest. I'm not really interested in Bo Nix as much as some people are. I like Penix and Jaden Daniels, but those are the routes I'm taking, man. And honestly, excuse my language, but fuck them picks. I'll trade up to number 4, number 5. I don't care. That's how important I think this position is. And I think Raider fans are a little bit delusional sometimes where they can't see that. But all you have to do is look around the league, man. There's a 5 or 6 teams that constantly are there in January of every year, and it's real simple. They have high-level quarterback play, man, and that's what the Raiders need. They have all the talent. They had the 8th-ranked defense this year. They have Devante, all the weapons. I don't need to go through them again. You got a quarterback and a smart offensive mind behind that, man. This team's ready to rock next year for, honestly, to compete for anything they want. Super Bowl, anything. I mean, that's how good they can be. So, yeah, man, I'm all in for drafting a quarterback.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man. Penix is my number one guy. I said that at the beginning of the season. I thought he was better than Caleb Williams. I came out on a limb and said that I think he's better at the beginning of the season, that he's better than Caleb Williams.
I agree with you.
His stats were comparable last year to Caleb Williams, and he did it again. He did 2 years in a row, and he should have won the Heisman. Congrats to Jaden Daniels, but I thought that Penix should have won the Heisman.
Another thing for me that why I can agree with you on that is you saw a drop off in Caleb this year.
Yep.
Penix, he had his moments of 1 or 2 bad games, but he kept it pushing, and now he's about to play for a national championship, man. I mean, I
think it's clear and clear cut. He's the best pure passer in the draft by a long ways.
By leaps and bounds. By leaps and bounds.
His deep ball is beautiful.
Yeah, man.
I want to see him throwing that shit to Devante so bad.
And the thing that's good about Penix is that Jacoby is a similar stylistically. I think he'd have the same. No one say style. He'd have a very similar relationship with Jacoby that he has with Adunze.
Yeah,
where you get this like a physical, big body guy where he has a big catch radius. I think that chemistry would immediately. Why I advocate for Russ is that Russ is like, so I'm knowing Justin Fields because what Cade said, you have to make a decision on his 5th-year option, and if he balls out, then you have to pay him. So you get none of the benefits that you get with a young player. Russ, you get all those same benefits technically because he's a vet kind of paying on like a rookie deal, and then you can still draft. I'm trading whatever. If we believe in one of these guys, whether it be Penix, whether it be Jaden Daniels, we have to go up to get him. How many first-round picks do we have on our roster right now that we've made? So right. So we've been doing this without first-round picks. Trade those picks. Go get your guy.
Yep, absolutely. And you know what? I'm a shout out to Rafa, man. Thanks for popping into the $2 haymaker. Salute Raider Nation from El Capitan. Thanks for popping in, man. Thanks for the support. But Jeffrey Kreiser, I'm glad you brought that up. Penix injury history is scary. Yeah, 2 ACLs is scary, but I'll tell you this, man. When he was at Indiana, he wasn't the quarterback, nowhere near the quarterback that he is today. I think, now, sounds a little weird, but in a weird way, those ACLs made him a better quarterback. Because if you saw him play before he went to the University of Washington, he was a kind of a guy, he'll step back in the pocket and he'll get ready to take off before he was even looking at windows, before he was looking at trying to, drop into the bucket and throw it in. He wasn't that quarterback he is today. You saw against Texas, he was taking off in situations where it dictated for him to take off. He still has the ability, but he's smart enough to know that, okay, I can still do this, but let me go look out downfield first at these windows and drop into a bucket before I, start to take off. I think he's a smarter quarterback because of those injuries. What do you guys think about that idea?
Totally agree.
I agree. I mean, the only thing about him is that he's had 2 ACLs, but I think he's also had injuries to his shoulders as well. I want to say both shoulders, which is odd, but I want to say he's had like 2 ACLs and injuries to both shoulders. So when you start to talk about quarterbacks and shoulder injuries, I mean that's why Drew Brees went to the Saints and not to the Dolphins, because they were kind of scared what the doctor said about his shoulders. Now it ended up not affecting him until now. Now he said he can't even play catch anymore because his shoulders are it's so degenerated at this point. Sad. But that's you kind of worry about that stuff, especially with the guy that's kind of a gunslinger like he is. But I mean, like that going into the year, he's my QB1. Jayden Daniels kind of passed him up just because what he was doing in the league, he was doing it in. And he had a good year last year. People say, "Oh, he's a one-year wonder." No, he had a hell of a year last year. He just had one of the best, if not the best, college season of all time this year.
Joe Burrow was a one-year wonder too.
Exactly. True. Yeah. And he was a transfer. He was a transfer guy too from Ohio State.
Yep. Absolutely. It's another good point. Shout out to Cowtown. He says, you got to remember, if we do plan on drafting Penix, we have to draft Tyler Guyton, right tackle, out of Oklahoma for his blind side, because Illuminor is garbage. So, yeah, as a lefty, your right side is your blind side. So the left tackle position isn't as valuable, for a team with a left-handed quarterback. So you do have to find that top of the line right tackle. That's what you have to find.
You think you can move Colton to right tackle? He did play a little right tackle back in the day.
He played at UCLA. Yeah, so
you can absolutely do that, actually. I mean, because look at when was it? Last week, I think Thayer Mumford started, I think, at left tackle, and he did pretty well. So I mean, you have options. But yeah, I think you can move Colton to right tackle. I think Colton's played guard, tackle. I think even some center at UCLA. I mean, that guy can play any position. So I think it's
Dalton Wagner.
We do Dalton
Wagner. No, that's the hope. I think that's the hope, is that he develops into that guy. He looked good in preseason. We kind of
redshirted him.
Exactly. Nah, facts.
We got a good tackle room, especially with our young guys. I think we should be able to find somebody out of there that can handle it. Thayer Mumford looked pretty good this year. Wagner, we'll see, but he's got a lot of promise. I would bring Illuminor back on a cheap, if he would, on a cheap deal, $4 million.
Yeah. I think you would. I think a lot of these guys would take a team-friendly deal to return.
I think especially if AP's there.
Exactly. I think that's the AP effect too. I think it's the AP effect. And Loom is so good because he offers so much versatility. He's a guy where if you need a right tackle, he can play right. If you need a left tackle, he can play left. If you need a guard, he can slide in and play guard. I think he offers so much. What happened?
He said he's got a guard body.
Man, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Just Another DJ. Says, I want to see what Penix looks like under pressure. Pause on that one. Can we quickly process the field under constant pressure? Yes, I think so. And tune in tomorrow, man. Raider fans, check out the University of Washington versus Michigan in the national championship game.
Under pressure tomorrow.
Yeah, man. This might be the quarterback of the future.
But there's a few times Byron Murphy was bearing down on him, and he was able to escape, and either make stuff happen with his legs, or reset and deliver some strikes. So
yeah,
this is the real deal, man.
I know we weren't going to get into it too much, but you might be seeing our head coach of the future also on the other sideline.
That's true. So it's a lot of things
it's a 2-man race.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really want to talk about AP or Harbaugh. That shit gives me heartburn, bro. Like
that's the chicken, bro.
We'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. We've been talking about it ad nauseum. I can't do it no more, man.
No,
but you go for it, bro. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, I know you don't want to talk about it. I don't think there's nothing to talk about, bro. I don't think there's nothing to talk about. You got a man, and I'm not gonna get into it too much for you, but I'm just saying, real quick.
Talk your shit,
you
bro.
got a man that won this locker room. His players are fighting for him. He's done everything he needed to do to win this job. Deserves deserves and earned is a little bit different. I think he's earned the job. I mean, at this point, you got to listen to your players, man. I mean, you didn't do it last time. You know, at some point, you go and hire somebody else, and it don't work out. These players might go, man, fuck you. You haven't listened to me for years, man. I'm out.
Yeah,
I think it's simple, bro. AP should be the fucking head coach with Champ Kelly as GM. Go get him an offensive coordinator. Let them go get a quarterback. Let's rock. That's simple.
Who do you bring in at OC?
Don't matter, bro. Find a young offensive mind. They're all over the fucking league. Eric Bieniemy, I know he's a little bit older, but Eric B, Darrell Lavelle, I don't know, bro. You can find somebody.
Yeah,
Simple
absolutely,
to me, man. I know you don't want to talk about it too much, but it's like, bro,
I got some things to say, but I'm a hold that into a
just save it, bro.
Yeah, there conversations.
Hold.
So, all right, real quick, the OC. I'm bringing a college-minded guy, bro. And if we're getting Michael Penix, I'm doing what I can to bring in that OC from the University of Washington.
That's a good idea.
That's what I would do.
I like
if we keep AP. Let's bring in a college mind. You know, we're replicating the college game more than ever in the NFL. Let's go ahead and bring in a college mind and get things cooking. So
what about your
that's
quarterback
what I would
coach? Do. Well, you know, what about your quarterback coach at SC?
He can stay the quarterback coach over there, bro. Here's my thing, man. The USC is kind of
been in the league already. He's been head coach in the league already. So he offered. I think we need to pair. If we keep AP, we got to pair him with the guy who has experience, preferably experience as an offensive coordinator, because I don't want a rookie head coach, or rookie offensive coordinator, or rookie general manager, and potentially a rookie defensive coordinator as well, with retreads like Marvin Lewis and Adam Gates advising the head coach, who haven't been in the league or had success in the league for years. Like, if that's our trifecta, we could have some issues there.
I agree with you, and I actually agree with you too, Mike. I think a college-minded head or person for an offensive coordinator position isn't necessarily the worst idea in the world.
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury, best of both worlds.
Yeah, I mean,
QB coach at SC right now.
Look,
stay over there, bro.
Look, my choice for OC would be probably Eric Bieniemy, because you look at this Chiefs offense since he's left, and they are out of sync, man. And there's some things going on in Washington for why he's probably not going to be there next year. I don't think it's his fault at all. I just think new ownership, new staff, new everything there. They're going to switch it up. But if he comes be available, he knows the Chiefs. He played a big part in helping Mahomes develop a little bit into the league. And ever since he left Kansas City, bro, the offense hasn't been the same.
He's going to want to put his foot in Kansas City's ass twice a year.
Oh, fact.
So shout out to Daniel Malero, my fellow degenerate. Shout out to my boy Richie, man. If I didn't get to you, man, thanks for popping in. Thanks for the support. And shout out to Richard with the $2 haymaker. Who do you think improved the most on defense? Who's your most improved player for this defense this year? I think Yep. I think
most people. Know what? I think the easy answer is Malcolm Kuntz, and I think going forward, Malcolm Kuntz will be the guy. This is my comparison for Malcolm Kuntz. I think Malcolm Kuntz can be Hassan Reddick. That's why I see kind of Malcolm Kuntz as. But who I will say, no, definitely not Tyree Wilson. I watched some all 22. Tyree Wilson still the last dude off the ball. Tyree Wilson is still the last guy off the ball every play. Like, bro, every play.
Full-time D tackle next year.
Looks like a 3 technique.
My most improved player, because he's done it over the course of an entire season.
Merrick.
And I shitted on Merrick, bro. After Buffalo, I shitted on Merrick. But from week 3 on, Merrick has been pretty lights out, man. And he actually caught an interception today. And it wasn't like a give me. Like,
it was a nice sliding one.
Yep.
So, man, I give it to Merrick, man. And I think that's what we all wanted and needed to see. I think Epps has been a revelation, what he's been able to do, just the leadership he's provided. taking Merrick under his wing, turning him into a pro. And I think that is a safety duo that I think, hopefully we keep going forward.
Okay, what you got, bro?
I think Kuntz and Merrick are probably the two correct answers, probably the easiest answers. But I think another guy, too, that doesn't get talked about a lot, that's improved quite a bit this year. Well, two guys. One of them wasn't on the Raiders last year, but Robert Spillane, just as a player, he's just the improvement he made this year. But the guy that I'm talking about at first was Divine Diablo. I think Diablo did a really good job this year when he was on the field, and at least a lot better than last year, because I was ready to just get the hell out of here last year. But I think honestly he made a lot of improvements too.
And I got one more special mention, Amik Robertson.
I was about to just say that, bro. I was just about to say that. Yep, absolutely. He was a guy I didn't even have making the team this year. Him and Kuntz, I didn't think they were going to make the team.
Duke Shelley.
Yeah, we did have Duke Shelley over Amik, and Amik, not only did he make this team, he played very serviceable ball.
Yeah,
like to the point where you're like, okay, you feel comfortable with him being on another side, against another receiver. And
winning that jump ball against Christian Watson in the end zone was it for me. Yeah,
absolutely. He did his thing this year. A lot of guys improved on this defense. Shout out to Patrick Graham. Patrick Graham has all the credit for me for kind of rallying this defense and getting them to play top 10 football. I hope a lot of these guys return next year.
Yeah, Meek probably is going to get paid, bro. To be honest, he probably went from making about $2 million per, maybe somewhere, to probably, I don't know, he might be around 6 this year.
Yeah,
he could. Honest.
We'll see, man. We'll see. We may have to replace Meek with Tyler Hall. We'll
one more. Hobbs, man.
Hobbs. I mean, we knew what Hobbs can do already, as long as he can stay healthy.
His tackling this year was insane.
He's one of the greatest, the best DB tacklers in the league.
Yeah,
can tell me otherwise.
I think the biggest thing with Hobbs, man, is just about where he's at on the field. Like, I don't know if like playing outside corner too much was like his fit. I mean, but in the nickel, man, he's a superstar. He's probably the best. Honestly, he's probably the best nickel corner in football if you keep him there. He's that good. Like, he could blitz. He could. I mean, and you won't even know if he's blitzing, bro. He'll look like he's dropping back in coverage, and then he's on your ass. I mean, he's as legit of a nickel corner as you get. So,
what do you guys think this defense needs?
Another D tackle and another number 1 corner.
Yeah, so you got Jack at number 2.
Jack is a high level number 2, and man, I think he has number 1, and that's why I said that's kind of the luxury we have. I think he has the talent of a number 1 corner, but he doesn't have the sometimes you know what I mean. Yeah. So I think he sometimes he kind of he can get too emotional, and you don't want your number 1 corner being a guy that's that emotionally unstable. So I think if we get like a legit number 1 corner, man, oh man, but we got to bring back Adam Butler too, man. He was a Patriot guy, and a lot of people didn't want him, didn't like him. But Adam Butler he's been a revelation at defensive tackle, man. And a lot of times, what happened?
No, go ahead.
Now I'm saying a lot of times when we see a lot of these guys getting cleanup sacks off of pressure or off of Adam Butler being double teamed or taking on 2 guys. So
I was gonna say what I was gonna add was another guy, John Jenkins. I bring him back too. He's gonna come cheap, and bro, if you don't go out there and get another nose tackle, I think he's got another year in him of plugging holes.
Yeah, 1 more year, because what he does, man, he's gonna be able to do that. He's not going. That's gonna age well.
Just sit his ass down right there.
Exactly. Eat up space, man. It's 2 gap. Eat up space. Eat up 2 gaps.
I think our D tackles have played well this year. Everyone keeps talking about we need D tackles. I wouldn't mind a young defensive tackle, but realistically, man, compared to last year, this is years this is levels ahead of that last shit that we had last year, man. I think a number one corner is like the biggest need for this team. And then, linebackers never hurt either. You can add some linebackers. I think depth is like the biggest thing for this team too.
Yeah.
Outside of like a number one corner. But I mean, dude, like obviously you can use talent anywhere on the football field when you look at a roster, man. You can never have enough talent. But just looking at what this defense was able to do the last 9 weeks under Antonio Pierce and Patrick Graham, it's hard to say, bro, because we literally played the best defense that – I mean, I'm probably the youngest one here, but the best defense I've seen as a Raider fan since I was a little kid, man. Like, it was something special.
It was. It was. For the first time in quite a while, I felt comfortable watching the Raiders play defense.
Cowtown, that's racist. Come on now. What he said about Cooper DeJean. You say that because he's white, man. Come on.
It's safety in return, man. So let me pull that back up real quick. What was that?
Great on Epps.
Yes. Shout out to Richard from with a $2 haymaker once again. Thanks for the support, bro. Great on Epps. What you guys got on Epps?
I give him a B. I think he was extremely consistent. He did everything well. He wasn't amazing at anything, but he did his job. He was very consistent. I'll give him a solid B.
Facts. I'm the same. I give him a B plus. Just the effect that he's had on the team. He was a guy that came in as a free agent, off a Super Bowl winning team, or Super Bowl participant rather, and he's a guy that knew the playbook and was teaching guys that had been here before the defense. Yeah. That's how immersed he got into the defense. He was lining other guys up in the summer where he had just got here. So I think just the end of, like I already spoke about the effect that he had on Merrick. People talked about it in the offseason. There was a light-skinned brothers hanging out. And then like you never heard his name called in a negative way. Like I can't even think of too many plays, maybe like 3 or 4 throughout the year where it's like, dang, Epps, you got to be better right there. And he didn't have an interception, but he caused a few fumbles. So I think it's a solid B plus, man, and he's definitely a guy, like I said, he should be a cornerstone going forward of this defense. Him and Spillane, the leadership they provided, and Spillane was a guy I told people about, hey, he's a guy that I like. So I think just the leadership they were able to provide for these young guys, man, is going to be important.
Sir, yes, sir. Okay, what's the grade you got for Epps, man?
I'm gonna give him an A, and here's why. Before he got to the Raiders and he was at the Philadelphia Eagles, he was the 6th best run defending safety in the National Football League. He was dead last in defending the pass. Again, this year, great run defending safety, except for this time, he was not dead last in defending the pass. The last time Epps gave up a touchdown was the same as Trevon Merrick, and it was in week 3, I believe. Yeah. Week 3 was the last time that he gave up a touchdown. Forced some fumbles, like turnovers. He would hit people coming up the middle. Honestly, if you want my honest opinion, he was what people are looking for probably like in Jonathan Abram. Yeah. Except he had his head out of his ass. So for me, the improvements that he made, I think he deserves an A, man. Like he came here and he really balled. And not to mention, he had to take a prove-it deal on a 2-year contract, not making that much money, because of his deficiencies in the passing game. So, and now he's fixed those, and he's going to be back here next year because we have him for a 2-year deal. So I'm excited about that, actually.
Yeah, same here. I give him an A. I give him an A as well. He seemed to be like one of those leaders that changed the defense. We needed one of those type of leaders in each. We had Max Crosby, taking care of the edge and D-line in general. We had Spillane, who stepped up immensely. He was a big surprise for me as well. He stepped up, took over the linebacker room, played his presence. He was the green dot, I believe. And then Epps in the secondary seemed to be that leader. Took what's his name? Merrick under his wing, ended up being like good friends. And you saw how great you saw Merrick play. And I think it was because of kind of like putting them two together. It was almost like iron sharpening iron. So, those key pieces at each levels of the defense really made a big difference. And I think that Epps was one of those guys that you can count on to be that grizzled veteran and the veteran to kind of like, hey, this is how we run things. This is what we're doing. So A for me, no doubt. That's what I would give him for sure, man. Let me see what we got here, man. I just saw a comment. Hey, shout out to
I chop up that Josh Jacobs contract and I give some to Kuntz, some to Epps, and some to Spillane.
There you go. Shout out to Franklin Skinner, Planet Raiders Own, man. Thanks for popping in. Thanks for the support as always, man. Guys, I think that's the show, man. We got plenty of stuff to talk about in the offseason, man. We're back to spot track, back to draft boards, back to mock drafts. K-Town, you know how we used to do it last year, man. We're doing it again.
Bigger and better.
So, bigger and better. Absolutely, man.
One more thing to point out. Go for it, bro. The craziest stat for the year. I need to know what you guys think. Mine, Devante Adams had more catches this year than last year.
Wow. What? Are you serious?
Yes. He had 103 to 100. That is insanity to me.
Man, it seemed like he didn't get the ball enough.
For real.
Man, wow. That's...
He had significantly less yards and touchdowns, but he had more catches. It just seems so weird.
Yeah, he was dinking and dunking on him. That is pretty interesting, man. Anybody else you guys got any final thoughts?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate being on the show. I don't know when the next time I'll be back. I always love to talk Raider football, but if I'm not back for a while, I hope AP gets the fucking job. I'm pro AP, man. I see the vision, and I feel like I haven't seen a vision like this for this team in a long time, man. And I'm actually excited for this offseason. I haven't really ever felt this excited. I feel pretty excited going into this offseason. I think we're going to make shit happen.
Man. Okay, before you go, man, let them know where we can find you. Everybody, they want to know, man, so they can follow you. You seem like a brilliant football mind. You're welcome on this show at any time, man. Thanks for popping in. Let them know where we can find you, man.
Hey, thank you, brother. At Cade Morehouse. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. That's pretty much it. It's really all I use is Instagram and Twitter, but at Cade Morehouse. You'll find my interviews. I got so much content and stuff. I took the month of December off, but I'm going to get right back to it in the next week for the MMA stuff. I was just enjoying the holidays with my family, but yeah, man, I cover live events and
also you guys know how plugged in Cade is with this MMA shit. If you're an MMA fan, this man's interviewed Justin Gaethje, other UFC fighters, Bellator fighters. This dude's not just out here covering the locals, man. This dude he's at Bellator press conferences. He's really in there.
Man.
Yeah, man. I interviewed Chael Sonnen. I mean, I've got names on my page, man. But I love to interview everybody, man. You had to interview the regionals and the younger amateur fighters to get to the bigger names, man. And I still have to do that. So, but I cover any and all MMA, man. I love it. I just love the shit, man. It's my favorite thing in the world outside of my family.
And you got a spot here, on Big Mike's channel, Swaggering Boisterously Crew. You can come in anytime, talk some ball with us at any point, man, for sure.
Yeah, man, hit me.
Yeah, for sure, man. Zamir, my boy. Any final words for you, bro?
Top 15. That's what I have to say.
Top 15.
Yeah. Start stretching. That's what I have to say. Start stretching. Start stretching. I don't want no doodle stains on the camera. Let's go ahead. Save that for right now. But yeah, man, I think this has been a roller coaster of a season, man.
Yep.
I think the head coach firings have already begun, but I think the Falcons have already let go of their head coach, man. So there's gonna be a lot of options out there, man. But I think AP has earned a shot, man. We'll see what Mark Davis decides to do, but it's gonna be an exciting offseason, man. I'm gonna have a lot of content coming for you guys, not only on YouTube but on Planet Raiders. So make sure y'all check your boy out, both spots. And yeah, man, I see y'all there.
Dope. Shout out to Van City. Last comment I'm about to pull up. My guys, don't mind me. I'm just over there having the time of my life. We want AP chant that broke out today was crazy. So Van City went to from Vancouver, where he's from, to Vegas, made a trip, saw the Raiders get a win in Vegas. I'm happy for you, bro. My apologies for not making it out there. Things came up. Some plans changed. So next season, we're definitely going to get together, Van City. We got to do that, man. It's long overdue. But guys, with that, we had 110 in the building, guys. We had up to about 110. Shout out to everybody out there supporting, show love all season. It's not over yet. It's not off season for us. We go year round over here, Big Mike Raider Channel. And we got plenty for you, man. We got 92 in the building right now. Make sure you guys like the thumb, hit the sub, and share with your folks. Shout out to Big Heck. Big Mike Raider want to meet up with y'all boys in Vegas for a game next season. We'll make it happen, man. Rich in the building, 110 and a Bucks fan. Yeah. He's a Bucks fan, and that's my guy, man. It's like my brother, my big bro right there. And he supports no matter what, even though he's a Bucks fan. Shout out to you and congrats on the playoffs. 9-8 was enough for you guys. I hate you guys' division. You guys can win 5 games and be in a playoff race. It sucks.
5 in that division, man.
Yeah, we be 13 and 4 in the division. Anyways,
they kept out a certain team, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, man. So with that, guys, we're gonna call it a night. You guys have a good one. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
This is one of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, we just shot a few of my shits down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. Let's rock and roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the pineal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.